Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are unpacking something fresh off the press. It's a brand new research paper from June 2026 titled BadWorld: Adversarial Attacks on World Models. If you love understanding the cutting edge of AI, and honestly, more importantly, where its hidden fractures lie, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down some seriously complex computer vision research into a clear, structured journey. So let's get right into it.
Now I want to start by posing this question directly to you. Can we break a synthesized reality with an invisible attack? I know it sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is the exact paradox of cutting-edge AI today. We're building these incredibly sophisticated models capable of literally dreaming up entire worlds. Yet, as you'll see, they can be highly vulnerable to microscopic alterations, things the human eye can't even perceive. It's a fascinating vulnerability.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire foundation of today's explainer is grounded in this specific computer vision preprint. It was submitted by researchers Linghui Shen, Mingyu Cui, and Xingyi Yang. By examining their work, we get a comprehensive overview of the research paper and a real front-row seat to the bleeding edge of AI security, because they've discovered a completely new way to test the boundaries of what these models can actually handle.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The magic of world models. 2. The adversarial blind spot. 3. The BadWorld framework. 4. Mechanics of the hack. 5. Structural collapse. And finally, 6. Safety versus privacy.
Section 1. The magic of world models. Synthesizing interactive reality. So, what are we actually talking about here? Visual world models, or VWMs, are essentially AI systems that act like interactive dream engines. They synthesize interactive, action-conditioned rollouts from just a single context image. What does that mean in plain English? Well, imagine giving the AI one photograph of, say, a race car on a track. Based purely on that single picture, the VWM can dream up a whole interactive, moving reality. If you input an action to steer left, the video generates the car turning left. It understands the physics, the environment, the whole shebang. It's kind of like generating a playable video game purely out of thin air. It is absolutely nothing short of digital magic.
Section 2. The adversarial blind spot. Why standard attacks fail.
Now, you might be wondering, if these models are so powerful, why hasn't anyone effectively hacked their realities yet? Well, it turns out attackers face a seemingly unsolvable problem when trying to test VWM vulnerabilities. The issue lies in the constraints of standard attacks. Normally, to hack an AI, you tweak an image until the AI gives you the wrong output, like making it think a stop sign is a speed limit sign. But look at the constraints we're dealing with here. First, attackers lack ground truth future videos. Because the AI is generating entirely new realities on the fly, there's literally no correct future video to use as a baseline for the attack. Second, attackers cannot predict subsequent user controls. The future rollout depends completely on what the human user decides to do at any given moment. You can't exactly launch an attack against a future that hasn't been written yet, right? So standard hacks simply don't work here.
Section 3. The BadWorld framework: overcoming the constraints.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the researchers did to solve this seemingly impossible problem. They built BadWorld. It's a label-free adversarial framework tailored specifically for autoregressive visual world models. Now, label-free is the magic word here. It means the framework systematically overcomes those adversarial constraints we just talked about, because it doesn't need to know what the future video is supposed to look like. Instead, it attacks the core engine of the model itself, right at the source, effectively bypassing the whole unpredictability of human choice, a real game changer.
Section 4. Mechanics of the hack: step-by-step intrusion. I love getting under the hood, so let's actually look at the two very specific, highly technical mechanisms the researchers use to pull off this digital heist. Here is the step-by-step breakdown. Step 1 is a self-supervised velocity attack, targeting early denoising dynamics. Think of it this way. Instead of waiting to see what the AI generates, the attacker throws an invisible wrench into the engine exactly as it starts up. By disrupting the initial denoising process, which is the very first step the AI takes to generate an image, the entire foundation of the reality is corrupted from millisecond 1. Then we have step 2, trajectory adaptive bi-level optimization. Yeah, that is a mouthful, but conceptually it's brilliant. The algorithm actively hunts down the absolute hardest user actions and optimizes the attack against them. It forges control-agnostic perturbations. That simply means the attack is going to work perfectly no matter what action the user takes. Whether they steer left, steer right, accelerate, or hit the brakes, the reality is doomed regardless.
Section 5. Structural collapse. The catastrophic degradation.
Moving from the theory of the attack to its actual empirical results. This is where things get genuinely devastating. When tested on representative VWMs with both continuous and discrete controls, the outcomes were stark. First, we really have to emphasize that the threat is totally invisible. The researchers achieved this using visually indistinguishable adversarial images to hack the models, meaning to your eyes, the context image looks completely normal, a pristine, perfect starting frame. But secretly, mathematically, it holds the power to entirely break the AI's internal world. No way you'd spot it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the researchers didn't mince words about their findings. They note that these visually indistinguishable images reliably trigger catastrophic degradation in future rollouts, leading to incomplete denoising, structural collapse, and control inconsistency. Let that sink in. The AI doesn't just make a small mistake here. Its entire generated reality literally crumbles. Cars melt into the pavement, environments warp into static, and the model completely forgets how to respond to user inputs. It is a total, across-the-board structural collapse of the synthesized world.
Section 6. Safety versus privacy. The double-edged sword. When a system is proven to be this structurally fragile, we have to take a step back and look at the wider implications for the real world. So, the crucial point is how we interpret this vulnerability. On one hand, we have a critical risk. The BadWorld framework exposes severe dangers if we start deploying visual world models in safety-critical systems. Imagine an autonomous vehicle training simulator or a robotics control system relying on a VWM that can be collapsed by just an invisible pixel change. That is a total nightmare scenario for sure. But on the flip side, the researchers impartially note that this exact same hack highlights a practical mechanism for protecting user privacy. Say you don't want an AI scraping your personal photos and synthesizing interactive deepfake worlds out of them. Well, you could theoretically apply a BadWorld-style invisible perturbation to your images. To humans, your photos look completely normal, but to the AI attempting to exploit them, the generation just collapses into useless static.
I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. Could attacking AI with a framework like BadWorld actually be our ultimate defense for preserving personal privacy in a world dominated by generative models? It's a fascinating paradox to consider, isn't it? That the very tool used to break these incredible synthetic realities might be the exact shield we need to protect our own. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this research today, and keep questioning the realities you see